Hi, my name is Jamie and this is video number 8 in a series of videos that I'm doing about my experiences with lucid dreaming, astral projection, and out-of-body experiences. And for today's video, I just thought I'd throw into the mix a how-to video. I had a couple people request it, and it's not something that I plan to do, mostly because I didn't think I really had anything new to bring to the table, but after thinking about it for a while, it really was an interesting process to look back and really figure out what worked and what didn't, and so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Firstly, I just wanted to tell a little bit more about my story because it is pertinent, especially to a how-to video. I projected and had lucid dreams, many lucid dreams, very regularly between the years of 2008 to 2011. And what happened then was I got pregnant, and babies can very quickly change your sleep pattern. And frankly, if you're not getting enough sleep, these practices become nearly impossible. And so, in a lot of ways, I'm currently looking at the light at the end of the tunnel because my youngest is now getting older, and instead of having babies, scream at you to wake up in the morning, I can have my peace a little bit and hopefully get back into these practices myself. So that said, the first thing I wanted to just say is that in my opinion, these things are skills, and it's not, it's a skill just like anything else. Riding a bike, playing the piano, whatever it may be. It takes a ton of discipline and a ton of time and energy and work. And it's easy in that way if you're passionate about it, but it can take a lot of time and a lot of discipline, and it's not something that, like, I don't know, just special people can do, or or something silly like advanced souls can do. No, this is, in my opinion, a skill that everyone can do, and you can do it. You just have to have that commitment and that discipline. And trust me, I understand how hard it is when you want to just sleep. So that said, the three things that I came up with. Number one is reality checks. And what's interesting is looking back on those years, doing reality checks actually sort of changed my life. What I did was I realized that if I wanted to do reality checks throughout the day, I needed to have something trigger me. And I found a watch online. It's a fishing watch, and it would vibrate every hour. And so every hour I was stopping whatever I was doing, it didn't matter. And I was really stopping and questioning, am I dreaming? And I would actually, really do it with scrutiny, is this a dream or not? And I would also stop and look at my hands. I would look at the front and the backs of my hands. And doing that consistently like that, I think in a lot of ways sort of just changed my brain. Because I now have kind of this kind of waking reality check going on all the time. I don't know what purpose it serves other than the fact that when I do go on vacation, I have lucid dreams quite easily without my children around. But anyways, reality checks are really important. And so find what works for you. And yeah, I think that would definitely be my number one. Number two is the wake back to bed method. And I think everyone's different, but in a lot of ways, this is kind of mandatory. I don't know a lot of people that can just kind of go to bed and then wake up in the morning having gone out of body. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and I certainly have had a lot of experiences in that way as well. But if you really want to make it a practice and do it regularly, you sort of need to be setting the alarm to get up, a few hours before you have to get up. And in my opinion, this is different for everyone. And it really has to do with when you go to bed. I tend to go to bed a little later, like around 11:30. And so waking up at like 3 or 4 is not going to be helpful, because really what I do is I just go back to bed. What was really good for me is waking up around 6 or 7. That was when I started having really powerful experiences. And really wake up, really wake up, read a book about, projecting or whatever, do your mantras in your head, I'm going out of body, whatever you need to do to kind of during those even 10 or 15 minutes of being awake, and then go back to bed. And you kind of have to find that rhythm for yourself. So, and what happens then is very quickly is you start having false awakenings. And in my opinion, this is a real gem of this practice, because a false awakening always felt like, to me, you were really close to waking life. And I would have moments where I would be lucid, but I'd be very deep in a dream. And I never had as much success with projecting from those deeper dreams. And so kind of the false awakenings kind of lived kind of in this kind of more closer mode, in my opinion. And in a lot of ways, you know, I remember constantly I would, you know, have a false awakening, and I would even like take a shower and, you know, make breakfast. And then I'd realize, wait a minute, this is a dream. And, you know, because something looked a little funny. And at that point, it's even as simple as just taking a few deep breaths and just simply having the intention and feeling, and then the vibrations would come at that point quite easily. So wake back to bed, you know, set that alarm, figure out what works for you, and commit to it. And the last thing that I came up with, and I actually was surprised at this, I looked back on a lot of my experiences, and one of the things that really was a pattern from when I had my most powerful experiences and had a very successful kind of stint, was when I changed my routine. Because I think in a lot of ways, humans, we love our routine. And what happens is you're setting your alarm for 6, you're doing your reality checks, but then that becomes routine. And so I really look back and think about how I needed to constantly be flexible and try new things, and almost like kind of not let your brain get too comfortable with whatever you're doing. So for me, a lot of the times I would, you know, go try sleeping in a chair one time, you know, after I woke up and would go back to bed, or on the couch, or in the spare room, or whatever that might be, trying different locations. I have had so many great experiences when I'm visiting other people in their beds. Hopefully that won't get edited in the wrong regard. But anyways, keeping it flexible. Also, you know, looking up different kinds of experiments. I mean, I've tried so many different experiments, and you know, different types of things you can go try to do while you're lucid, and they really bring on very powerful experiences, in my opinion. So anyways, that's my little how-to video. I certainly hope it helps someone, and it really has helped me, actually, as I look forward into getting back into these practices myself more regularly, and having that commitment and that discipline. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you later.